Hey, good evening, folks, and welcome to Let's Go Fishing Show. My guest tonight's Mike Cox. Mike, glad to have you with me.
Be here again.
All right, good to have you. I hope everybody had a happy New Year, and we're ready to rock and roll. Expecting bigger and better things this year, Mike.
Hopefully.
Catch more fish.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, all right. Sounds like a plan to me. Want to probably eat a little more fish than we did last year, so you're going to have to come on with it.
Yeah, that's right.
It's coming over here on Thursday nights, no fishing film, no fish caught. You know, you can't have a fishing show without fishing.
Yeah, less work, more fishing.
There you go. Whatever it takes to get them. You have to use a net or whatever. Mm-hmm. Hey, folks, I'm just picking at Mike a little bit here. He's going to have to get his A game going and help me catch some fish and get some film for you all to see. And I want to say hello to my wife. She had some surgery today, doing good, and she's over at the hospital. So just left her a little bit ago. Just wanted to say hello to her. Let her know I'll be back shortly. And Mike wants to say hello to Dad. I know he's watching.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. All right, Dad. See you sometime tomorrow. And we'll try to hold the fort down here tonight. Hey, folks, tonight's film, Mike and I went up last Saturday and fished the Heartland tournament. And Mike come in second, and I'm proud of him for that. I was worried about him there for a while, but he finally pulled it out and got a second place. And Mike... I got the weigh-in. I showed the weigh-in there, or got it filmed. 3 or 4, 5 bags of good fish caught right there, and that kind of thing. So, Mike, you be thinking about what kind of things we want to talk about after we show this film on the weigh-in, and that kind of thing. I wanted to wear the helmet and do some filming while we was fishing, and dang, it was so cold I couldn't get keep my toboggan on and get the helmet on, so I opted for the best thing. I kept my ears warm.
Yeah, that's right.
So I told Mike, I said, I had gloves on and everything, all the clothes I had with me on, and I said, we'll film the weigh-in and maybe we'll get by. So don't hold that against us. We're working on something to keep my ears warm, and I swapped. Got a little head cover there now. It's not near as thick as my toboggan, and I'm going to try to make that work on the next trip out and that kind of thing. So we're still perfecting this bicycle helmet and the camera. I used it down there yesterday, and but I'm not satisfied with how it turned out, Mike. I wasn't showing what I needed to show and that kind of thing. So we'll get it tuned in and get the helmet in the right position where the camera's on the right angle and that kind of thing, so we can see what we want to see. But anyway, hope y'all, like I said, hope everybody had a happy, safe New Year. And I know we're competing against the Lady Vols tonight, but if you're not on, maybe you can call your friend, tell him to turn the TV on, the fishing show, and we'll see how it goes from there. Herschel, go ahead and show us that weigh-in up there, will you? Hey, folks, I'm up here at point 19 with the Heartland, and we just got one person's weighed in so far, 5 pounds something, so we're going to catch this weigh-in and see how these guys done here today. So remember the sponsor, Let's Go Fishing.
What's that? 5. 5 large pounds.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's a good. So good. 450.
1335.
1335.
Whoa, nice smile. I've got 5. You want 5 first?
That's pretty good.
I want to drink something.
They know when everybody else has 5. It's cold today.
I almost died.
You almost died? I'm too bad.
I almost...
Rosie was dead.
Oh, and I was like, done the work.
You did. You fell in the water? You did not.
Liar!
You silly thing. If you fell in the water, we wouldn't be here.
I wouldn't be here right now. How many do you have?
I'm not kidding you. Shouldn't be around the house. I feel sorry for you today. It's 1965.
You did very good.
Check out
1355. This is so far.
good.
not leaving. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not going. I'm not dead.
That's, Scott's dead. Oh, 1340. 660.
Stop there, y'all. Keep that up. Why Steve made me have trouble. What's the bigger fish? Even though it's been overcast today, it's been pretty nice.
Well, pretty,
You better get one yesterday. You didn't get the pictures like they say with $50.
I don't know. Really check. This
Check that. Playing about 8. Coming in.
What's late?
I really mind.
1365. Aaron. 805. Okay, 805. We got 4 bites and 4 fish. That's pretty good. Here we have. Big fish. 4.5.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll check it out. 825.
Brandon so far likes it, but he just got out of junior. You know, he just got out Yeah. He did pretty good. No, nah. Yeah. Yeah, he played up there. Yeah. I still talk to him. He's always been like that. He's had a match. Jimmy Jones, I remember that. First game there. He's not playing more than that. I couldn't remember my name, but it was one of them. When
Hang around, but you got Second place is Steve and Mike Cox. 1340. First place, Mike and Mike with 1365.
Thank you. Thank you. When's the next one?
18th of June.
18th.
Mother is Jones and Jones with 4.5.
Thank you. Well, why did you get mine?
Folks, we got today's winner here, Aaron Mack.
Marlin, mate.
Marlon Mack. How'd you guys do today? How much weight you get?
1365.
1365. It was really a little kind of tough today, a little bit, wasn't it?
Yeah, the water's cold off some. Kind of slowed it down.
Did the pink floater work today?
Yeah.
Did it? I'm glad to hear it.
We did catch some on the jerkbait today.
Did you?
Just, yeah.
All right. Well, that's good information. We appreciate it.
Kind of slow, really. I mean, we didn't have a whole lot of bites.
Yeah.
Last tournament we caught a bunch of keepers, but this one, you know, we had 7 or 8 or 9 keepers. You know, not. I mean, don't get me wrong. That's you know, I'm tickled to death for that, but it's slower than it has been.
Yeah, it's water cooling now. It's kind of run them off the bank, and the water come up. It's coming up what? 4 or 5 feet?
I'd say, yeah.
Okay.
Come up and cool off. Both of those are kind of negatives.
Yeah, for a shallow fish, I guarantee you, that's a kill. All right, hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
It's good to have you on, and don't get to watch the rest of the fishing show.
All right.
Appreciate it. All right, thank you. Hey folks, I got Denton Jones, and Denton, you're the partner with Troy?
Yes, sir.
All right, Troy Jones, his partner, and you guys have how much today? 1333. 1333. You had all largemouth in Kentucky, didn't you? All largemouth. Man, that was a pretty bag. That was a pretty bag of fish, sure was. And you had the lunch for too,
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, Denton, congratulations. You want to tell us how you call them? Crankbait. On crankbait. There you go, folks. You know, there's only 10,000 different crankbaits, but you figure out the right way that you'll have it. Thank you, Denton. Thank you, brother. Okay, buddy. Hey, folks, I got George Kyle here with me. George, you're the tournament director? Yes, sir. For the Heartland at Point 19. Yes, sir. Do a good job. Thank you, sir. Enjoyed fishing today. You had a pretty good bag of fish, too, didn't you? I had 13, 15, which was, I think, 40. Yeah, 4th place. Get it right out. It was 1365, 1340, 1335, and 1315. We all just need a little more water. That's it. Hey, George, listen, congratulations, and I enjoyed fishing, coming up here and fishing with you guys, and I had my choice to go to Watch Bar or come up here, and this time of year I decided to come up here with you. I don't blame you. All right, appreciate it, man. Appreciate you. Come back. All right. The 18th is their next one. I hope I can make it back. We're going to try to get qualified down there at Caney Creek, and I don't know when their next is. Got to look at the schedule and see what goes on, but I really appreciate it. All right, appreciate you. Thank you, buddy. See you.
All right, folks. I think we're back to us, and is that right, Herschel? Okay, man. Sounds like a plan. We're going to talk a little bit, Mike, about the tournament. You know, like I say, hates I didn't get to film the catching them fish up there, but we had 5 bags of that's 1365, 1345, 1335, and then 1315. 4 or 5 bags of fish right there that. You know, it was all right in there real close.
Yeah, it was. I would have filmed it, but I was too busy with the dip net.
Yeah, okay, Mike, whatever. That's your excuse. That's your excuse.
Yeah.
You're going to have to come on with it, that's all I can say.
I know.
I did want to mention a couple of things there, Mike. You know, those guys, you know, folks, you know, fishermen are kind of tight-lipped. They don't tell you everything, but, you know, those guys was real, pretty much honest about what they were catching their fish on, and you heard that guy there, Mr. Long, he caught his fish on a crankbait, and like I told him, there's 10,000 crankbaits, Mike.
Yeah.
You just got to figure out which one will work, and he had all largemouth.
Had all largemouth.
And then the boys that won it there, Aaron Mack, I think they had two smallmouth and 3 largemouth for their 5 fish limit. I think George had 3 and 2. I think he had 3 largemouth, or maybe 4 and 1. I think George had in his fish 4 largemouth and 1 smallmouth, and then you had 4 smallmouth and 1 little old Kentucky.
1 little Kentucky. Yeah.
So we had a kind of a variety, you know, there in that situation, and but you know, some of those guys, they still caught some fish there on spinner baits, and had them caught on crankbaits, caught on jigs, and some fish caught on a jerkbait.
Yeah.
So pretty.
You started out with that first one on the jerkbait, and it was probably, hour later before you caught the second one on the crankbait.
Yeah.
And we didn't have another hit till almost weigh-in time, or maybe an hour before weigh-in, at about 2 o'clock, and then all of a sudden you started.
We caught 3 non-keepers
Yeah.
in that span of about 4 hours there.
Yeah.
And so we really wasn't on anything until the last hour of the tournament, and pulled in there and finally figured out what we wanted. They finally wanted to buy what we wanted to feed them.
Yeah, and that was on the fly, so, there's a variety of different baits that was thrown at them, and sometimes you had the right one on, sometimes you didn't.
Yeah, you was right there behind me throwing a dark brown, and they didn't seem to want it.
Didn't seem to want that.
Yeah.
And all the different crankbaits I throwed, I didn't get but 1 month on the crankbait all day. Jerk baits, I went through them and through them, never got a strike on them, so it just.
Right. Well, we were talking about the water or the weather, clear, cold, and watercolor clear to lightly stained in places. Some of the backup water, farther back in the coves had just a little bit of stain to it. Everything out towards the channel and out in the sea there was what I consider pretty clear water.
Yeah, but with the cloud cover and wind blowing, I thought them fish would really been on it, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, they didn't. Them guys was talking that they, a couple of weeks ago, they caught a lot of fish during the day, and they had, some of them had 5 bites, 5 fish, some of them had 6 or 8 bites and 5 fish. So it wasn't a whole lot going on. I guess altogether we probably had 8 or 9 bites ourselves.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of tough, considering. And the water coming up, I think, had a big effect on it, Mike. The dock was still underwater, the floating dock.
Yeah.
So it came up a lot due to the rainfall and stuff, and I don't know now that they'll get it pulled back down before spring. They may.
It didn't quit raining.
Yeah, I'd say you're right. I'd say we probably may have seen the low peak of the down draw on North already, and so anyway, we'll just have to deal with that and see what comes up on that situation. Folks, we're gonna show the East Tennessee Fishing Show video, or the film that I shot there a couple of weeks ago, to make sure everybody knows about that. And so Herschel, if you want to do that, go ahead and run that segment of that film there.
The camera.
I want you to look at the camera. Hey folks, I'm here with Sheila Bunch, and Sheila is the promoter of the East Tennessee Fishing Show that's going to take place here in January. And I'm going to step back in the background, and Miss Sheila is going to tell us all about the fishing show, what she's got going on, and all that good stuff. So Sheila, just have at it.
All right, well, first of all, I guess I need to tell everybody when it is. January the 16th through the 19th at the Jacobs Building at Johari Park in Knoxville, Tennessee. And that, the times you will find out on the website, which is www.easttennesseefishingshow.com. This year we're proud to announce that we've got a whole list of pros that's coming. Jenny Houston, Terry Scroggins,
Yes, ma'am.
Jay Ellis, Audie Foe, Brandon Card, Charles Grigsby, and Mike Del Briscoe. And we will be doing seminars by local pros, such as Brandon Coulter and Tim Deering. Well, Audie Foe, they're a whole lot listed on the website, so you can find out more information. And we add to that just about daily to weekly. And let's see, we've got 3 new boat dealers, Bench Marine, Arrowhead, and White Pine. And everybody's welcome to bring their trade-ins. all these dealers will be more than happy to walk outside to look at your boat if you're looking for a new one. And this year we have a whole lot of new vendors. We have some of the ones that were in there last year that's been coming for years, but we've got vendors that have never been in the show before that's going to be there. And this year we've actually had to add more space for the vendors. We've actually got so many vendors that in this show you can plan your whole fishing year. I mean, you can sign up for tournaments, you can find your fishing guides, you can buy all your fishing tackle, all your electronics, buy your new boat. Anything you could ask for is at this show, and you can plan your whole year. Let's see. Oh, and one of the best things good about this show is we're going to be giving away a boat. We're going to, only thing you have to do is come, pay to get in, and the ticket you get at the door, you will take it and register. So if you come out 4 days, you can register 4 different times. If you want to buy 6 tickets, you can go register 6 times. It doesn't matter. But the East Tennessee Fishing Show is January the 16th through the 19th at the Jacobs Building at Johali Park.
And the children under 18?
Oh, yes, and the children, let's see, the admission is $8, and children will get in free under 8 years old, and all the free parking you can want.
All right. Folks, there you go. The show, and Vicki, I know you have, or Sheila, you have been taking care of that for several years now, and it's gotten bigger every year.
Yeah, it's my 4th year, and I love doing it. I love the communication between me and the vendors. They are absolutely wonderful. These people are people that actually work really hard. The products that they have, you cannot buy just anywhere. You cannot go to Bass Pro Shop. I shouldn't have said that.
Okay.
You cannot buy these products any place except the East Tennessee Fishing Show.
I don't know that I've missed maybe 1 or 2 since that thing's been going on, and it's a delight for me to get over there. Also, everybody's kind of got cabin fever, and you've got a big. This is a premiere show in this area, and
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to it and can't wait.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, so
All right, folks, back to the bus, and that's I promised that lady I'd show that next 2 or 3 weeks, and so Mike, it's not long to the fishing show, no?
Well, I'm saving my money.
That's what I thought. All right. Anyway, that thing's going to be starting up here pretty quick, and we'll definitely need to try to get over there. Paul King. I've got Paul King's grandson, Chance, is going to be the recipient of the shirt for December, the Let's Go Fishing shirt. And Paul, I've got your phone number and address, and I'll be getting up with you to get your grandson that fishing shirt. And if you want to call in here after a while, I'd appreciate it. He's a 6-year-old, and he is fishing with his grandpa, and Paul lives up in Clinton, and he and Mr. Henderson won a big tournament up there a couple of weeks ago at Norris. We had them on the, I think it was Bass Time Anglers or something like that. I can't remember. I'd have to go back to my notes. They won that their classic up there a few weeks ago, and then Paul had 7 or 8 pound up there this past weekend. So he's on the fish up there pretty good. Anyway, Paul, give us a call over here at the station, and so I can get that shirt to that grandson of yours. And folks, don't forget about the photo of the month. We're starting a new year here, so everybody can get caught up. So when you catch a good fish, get me a photo of that, and so we can get you a shirt, Let's Go Fishing shirt, Mike, and make sure all that works out. Let's see, Mike, I'm just catching up my notes. I'll get to that in a few minutes. The tournaments for this coming, or the next line of tournaments that I know of are the Heartlands. The one at Caney Creek is January the 11th. And then got one on January the 25th at Tom Ford Park. And then Mike back to Point 19 on January the 18th. George has got he's gone to Florida to fish a tournament, the tournament director up there, and so he had to skip a week, which that's all right with us. Get the water a little colder and get more in our favor.
It's still a little bit air colder.
Yeah, I heard that, Mike. I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to go, let me back up for a second and tell you what happened. I got a new spinning reel for Christmas. And it came from Edgemore Outdoors, and I'm tickled to death with it. Well, Friday night, Mike and I talked on the phone, and we could have went to Caney Creek, or we could have went to Norris Saturday morning, and fished either one of the Heartland tournaments. And Mike said, "We'll go wherever you want to go." I said, "Well, pack your stuff for Norris." So, because I hadn't caught much fish at Watts Bar in the last 2 or 3 trips down there, and I had caught some on Norris. And I said, hey, I feel better chances up there. So anyway, I filled that spinning reel up with line. And, I got up there Saturday morning, and I ran that line back off the reel behind the boat. I told Mike, I said, I've got to stretch this line. And that's, something that we do, or I do, with them spinning reels. Mike don't like that too good. He don't have to do that because he don't fish with them. And but we run the line off behind the boat, and I got it wound back in, tied my bait on it that I wanted. Run down across the lake over there and started fishing, and which I didn't throw that bait particularly right off the get-go. Anyway, stole my crankbait and then got the jerk bait up, caught a fish on that, and then like we said a minute ago, it was about an hour before I caught one. But anyway, I grabbed that other rod up and I had my bait on it, and I went to throwing that jig, or the higher fly on it, and I wasn't satisfied with the way it casted. And I thought, now what, but I'm going to tell y'all what the deal is on that. Me and Mike together here, and I brought some fishing line in, or Mike did, and what I ran into at the house, I had 3 spools of 10-pound test line. One of them was the average diameter of 12. The other one was the average diameter of 13.4. And the other one was the average diameter of 14,000. But they were all rated for 10-pound test. Well, I thought, now, daggone. So I put the 14,000 down there. I said, well, heck, my 12-pound test is 14,000. And I said, I don't want that. And so then I grabbed up the 134 and sized it up, and actually I had the 12,000 was on a spool, and I said, well, I want to put that on my bait caster, because it was 10-pound test, 12,000 diameter, Mike. Well, anyway, I used the 134, the middle size, and it just didn't cast worth a hoot. I'm telling you, I was really disappointed. And so I told Mike, I said, Mike, bring us in some fishing line. I was at the hospital and wasn't at home. I said, see what you got. So Mike, tell us what you got in here.
Well, I got a 8-pound test and string, and it's a magazine. And the diameter, it's about 10 thousandths.
Okay, I can go with that.
Here's a 12-pound test P-line, and it's 14 thousandths, the 12-pound test, so it's 2 thousandths bigger than what the size is on it.
The poundage rating.
The poundage rating.
Okay.
I got this tri-line here, and it's 14 thousandths, and it's 14-pound test. So you got to look at that average diameter of those lines when you buy them, and check them out for flexibility and everything, because you might get a good line as far as the size and pound test, but when you get it out, it's so dang stiff, it won't bend.
I agree.
And,
That's, yeah.
They don't make this anymore. This is the last of it that I've got, and I bought that spool, if you remember, when we was over in North Carolina, and that's been 10 years ago, I guess. I never run in anymore. This is the old Trimax that Berkeley come out with years ago, and its average diameter is 14 thousandths, and the pound test is 14 thousandths. And back when this first come out, we pull tested it on a deal that we made to test lines with, and it pulled 17 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
So these lines, you got to really check them out good and get you some and try it out, and not buy a wood spool or something till you know what you got. And 17 strands, there, it's 17 thousandths diameter, no, 16 thousandths diameter.
Mm-hmm. So it's rated for a pound more, I mean, poundage more than what the size
What the size is, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure is. And this Vantage here, it's all 20-pound test,
Mm-hmm.
and it's 18 thousandths diameter.
That's the Berkeley Vantage.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
and here's a couple of more that's 20-pound test. This is the old Silver Thread
Mm-hmm.
that I had. It's 18 thousandths diameter.
And it's 20-pound test.
20-pound test.
Okay. Well, you know, you got one more there,
The
right?
smooth cast, yeah, and that string, it's 20 and it's 18 thousandths diameter too. But the flexibility of it
Mm-hmm.
is the thing. This Vantage is it's so much more longer, and you ain't got near the memory that the other lines have got.
Yeah.
When it winds on your spool and you pull it off, and it just
Yeah, it looks like a coil spring. I hate that.
yeah, got
I
all
hate
kinds of memory. So you gotta. You know, it's best to just buy small spools of stuff and look it over good and check it out and see what kind of memory it's got and the flexibility of it and everything before you buy a lot of any one kind. So you know what you're buying.
Yeah, I can relate to that for sure. But you know, I'm going to tell you honestly, you get to me, and I know a lot of people do it but the baits we throw from 3/16 or 1/8 ounce, 3/16, quarter ounce, up to about a 3/8. I don't want anything bigger than 10-pound test on my spinning reel.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and a lot of people probably throw bigger line on there, but when you get above it, you know, when that line diameter is which I knew that, but I thought, well, heck, you know what, it may work, but it didn't work. And I've done spooled it back off and put it back on its spool because I didn't fish with it, but just a few casts, and I didn't get to re-spool it, but I will right here in the next day or two. And I'll put me some. I'm going to put 10-pound test on it, but I want a small diameter, as small as I can get. You know, whatever that may be. Like I said, I've got some string there, some clear string. That's 12-pound or 12 thousandths diameter and 10-pound test line. And if I can find some smaller than that, I'm going to find it, Mike, because I'm not satisfied with the way that worked at all. So that'd be something for you folks to pay attention to. You bank fishermen, same way. You know, I know standing on the bank, you're kind of at the mercy. You don't have a chance to run the fish down if they're, you know, pretty good size and that kind of thing. So you got to kind of size up your line. May even be using braided line.
Yeah.
All right. Some of them. But you know, I know you're probably not using braided line standing there crappie fishing, but you may be. That fire line is real small. Some of it the size of 4-pound test and as strong as 8 or 10. You know, in the monofilament. So, but it may not cast very well.
Yeah.
And but that was a big key for me up there. I thought I had the right thing on there, and I said, I'm going to learn from this experience again and make sure I get the right line on there. So that's our tackle box tip for the week, and I'm going to, let's see, Mike, I got a couple more things here. Herschel, give us just another 2-minute break there and show that little January the 1st film there. All right. Wes. I'm down here at Blue Springs with Rick Whitson, and it's a little after 9, New Year's Day. We're going to go out here and try some bass, and if we don't do any good with that, we're going to crappie fish a little bit. So remember the sponsors, and let's go fishing. All right, here we go. All right, folks, I've got a good fish on here now. Goodness gracious, Rick Whitson, what a fish. My goodness gracious. Can you believe that? Oh man, what a bucket mouth. Goodness gracious.
Nice.
Oh. Man. What about that? Oh yeah.
Throwing jigs all morning and then pick that up. And
Goodness gracious. Oh, that's a nice one.
it is a pretty fish. Big fish.
Man.
Have 5 of them in a tournament.
Yeah, boy. All right. Put him back. Here you go, bud.
Bass fishing, pitched him back in.
Yeah, I ain't got no minnow on there. I can tell. I have too. Don't know why I ain't getting bit. All right, folks. Thank you, Herschel. I wanted to show that we crappie fished, and as you can see, I was telling Mike there, I messed up on the camera. I forgot to zoom it back out, and all it wanted to show when I look at the water was blur. But we caught, I think we had 9 big crappie. We went down there and started crappie fishing, and thanks to Mike and Brad, they clued us in on where to go and what to do, and we had brought back 9 big crappie, not counting the 24 I've got that they had, so they let me have those too. So we was in pretty good shape. I've got a mess of crappie to eat now, and that was a big help. Herschel, turn the phones on, and we're going to talk about this the bass there that you saw, and then the crappie fishing. Mike give us a report on that. They had. That bass was the first bass. We actually started out throwing jigs. We was throwing jigs down through there, and we wasn't doing any good. And I picked up a Rick's rod there off the front of the boat, and I didn't make 3 casts. And that fish was 7.5, a good 7.5 pound fish. I was telling Mike it probably weigh 9 pounds if it's a female that's coming this spring. Every bit of it, but it was a big head and had a big head on it and all that kind of stuff, and just poor right now. Gets full of eggs this spring. It'd be a whopper. We fished there another couple of hours, Mike, and never got another bite. It just right there, just bam, it happened and it was over. So, like I said, that was the first bass I've caught this year, and I was pretty proud. I hope that's an indication of what to expect.
Well, what gets me, you go down there and you catch a crappie, and it's so daggone fat and stuffed full of shad minnows, and you see so many shad that it puts the depth finder out. But then you catch a bass, and he's so poor like he's been on a hunger strike or something, like he's afraid to eat him or something. I mean, it's amazing sometimes how they do that.
I haven't figured it out either, Mike. And shad everywhere, from the shallows out to the deep.
Yeah.
And I know. And the fish are like they're starved to death. And it's and shad minnows running everywhere, and and it doesn't make any sense to me either. I wished I knew the answer to that.
Yeah, catfish, everything we catch is just plain full of shad, and then we catch a bass and he just pulls and ain't got no weight to him around like he's got lockjaw or something.
Right. I hear you. I don't understand it myself. But anyway, like I said, I just wanted to throw that in there. We didn't get we got some film afterwards on catching the crappie, but it was such poor footage, I just deleted it all, and got rid of that. And then Rick and I went down Friday morning after Christmas, and I'll show that next week. And we caught 2 bass that day. It was the only 2 bites we had. Actually, we had 5 bites and caught 2 fish. And we'll show that next week. I'm saving that for hard times because it ain't much, but they were 2 good fish I caught that day. So anyway, we're still working on them and see if we can get some bites and that kind of stuff. Let me see here, Mike, what we like. The fishing report. I run into Bobby Summers there at the service station Thursday morning. Or Wednesday morning down at Kingston, and he was going to Angler's Cove, Mike, crappie fishing, yeah. And he's catching them trolling. And he told me, he said, 2 little old heads on his line, and he said, sometimes they want a red head, sometimes they want a chartreuse head, sometimes they want a white head, sometimes a yellow head. He said, if I'm not catching them on one, I'll cut it off, tie on something else, and he's trolling there and around in Angler's Cove and just kind of bumping the bottom and trailing those lead heads with a minnow. And that's what he told me. And he says, I just ease around down there till I find, what they want to bite. So if I don't get a bite pretty quick, I'll change the color of the head. So that makes all the difference in the world. And then, what you guys are doing is same thing we done last year, the year before, and the year before that. You just straight lining there on them. I think the structure, Mike, when you find that offshore structure out there, old trees and what have you, 24 to 28 feet, you're finding some crappie usually there's some crappie around them. But whenever they're out there in that 32, 33 to 38 foot of water, you're usually on a drop-off. Yeah. So if that helps you fishermen find them crappie, that's what I wanted to tell you. And because you have found some standing timber down there in 40.
Most of them got 42 foot in the wintertime. Up the lake about 38. Toward Kingston way, but further down the lake you get a little bit deeper. 45 on down past Twin Islands and stuff.
Yeah, okay. And I know I've been with you, and it's definitely there, folks. There's standing timber in that lake, and you have caught some crappie out of it.
Oh, yeah, caught a lot of crappie out of them.
And some pretty good ones, too. They get out there deeper than what you think, and that kind of thing. But it's it's hard to stay out there on it, especially in a little bit of current, a little bit of wind.
Yeah, that was one thing I noticed there the other day. That we started out and caught some fish back off the channel, and we got out in the channel and started fishing brush piles and laydowns out in there and off the bluffs and stuff. We couldn't hardly get a strike, and finally come back down the lake there a little ways, and the water started clearing a little more, and we caught all 3 or 4 out of one tree there about 28 foot, and then we went on down the lake past the cut through there at Gold Island, and water cleared even more. And it seems like the clearer the water, the better we do on catching the crappie.
I think that's exactly a key to it, Mike. Yeah, I sure do. I know I appreciate them I got from you and Brad down there yesterday afternoon, for sure. That was a good bag of crappie. With the ones that me and Rick had in there with them, buddy, I'll tell you what, they're going to eat good.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. Yes,
They're
sir.
going to eat good. I can't wait to get them on the skillet. But that's some good tips right now on the crappie. I don't know, what to tell you on the bass. I'm still puzzled with them myself, and except for I think man could catch some fish on Norris,
Mm-hmm.
They are catching them up there right now on several things. Now this front coming in, the weather changing, could make that bite even slower. You just got to, get a little slower with your presentation.
Biggest thing's going to happen, this cold weather coming in like it is fog.
Yeah.
It's going to get so cold that it's going to be so dang foggy that you won't be able to see. It'll take all day if it burns off in, especially if it don't get above freezing.
Yeah. That's a good point, Mike. The water temperature's still basically warm. It was 45 or 46 there on Watts Bar. Was it 49 on Norris there the other day, or 49?
Yeah, it's
49. Okay. So there's about a 3 degrees difference between the surface temperature on Norris right now and on Watts Bar, and it'll vary, a degree one way or the other, depending on if you're in the channel or back in one of the coves, it could be plus or minus there a degree or so, depending on where you're at. So, the surface temperature is not an indication of the temperature at 30 feet, but it just gives you a reference point to go by. I don't know that you're going to find the same temperature down there at 30 feet as you got on the surface. And if you do, on Norris, and I've only seen this once that I can remember on Watts Bar, we call it turnover water. It's where the temperature from top to bottom pretty well equalizes. And I've seen that water red up there as, just plumb red. Stained up on the bank and out on the shoreline, and catch a lot of fish out of it. So you'd think somebody poured red oil on top of the water, Mike, and that kind of thing. So, just wanted to point out those things to you at what's going on, and if it help you catch more fish, that's what we want to do, and because that's what we want to do, catch fish, Mike.
Yeah.
For sure. Don't know any other fishing reports to give you right now, except for what I told you about the crappie on Watts Bar. Sounds like to me if they're catching crappie at Angler's Cove and catching them down there middle of the lake, they're pretty much biting about anywhere and everywhere. Like you say, the way you're catching them is the cleaner the water, the better.
Yeah, Mr. Everett, we run into him down there at Hardy's. He was going to try up there in Emory, so we'll try to get a report from him there and see how he done up in the Emory part.
All right, that sounds good. And when we got down to Watts Bar there Wednesday morning, Chucks, the lake didn't like but a foot being full.
Yeah,
they helped the water and backed it up, and which if you're catching them 30 foot deep and it comes up 3 foot, and you just move out to 33, Mike. It didn't seem to make a whole lot of difference on that, other than the lake coming up. But we'll see how that goes here in the next few days, and don't know what the weather's going to bring. We'll, get Sherry back home and get things took care of. I may try to go Saturday if I don't have to work, just to see if I can catch one.
I don't know if that temperature cools down TVA will be running all the hydropower they can, so washbar will be running wide open.
Mm-hmm. Kind of heating up the water.
Heating up the water. But
Yeah.
there'll be a man down in North and everywhere else, because they like to use that hydro, because that's the cheapest they got.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, they'll be running the steam plant down there too. That's
yeah.
what I was getting at about heating up the water.
Yeah.
Listen, I had a gentleman call me a couple of months ago about going on a trip over here below Loudon Dam. And I hope you're watching. And you told me, you only got to watch every other Thursday. Well, now we're on YouTube, and you can catch up. There's, I think, 7, maybe 12 shows posted up on YouTube, and 9 shows. Herschel's telling me he's the guru of that. He's going to get them all as we do them. And so you'll be able to catch up on some of the shows here you've missed. But I want you to give me a call and tell me when we're going over there below Loudon Dam. That temperature, I've lost your name and lost your number, and can't seem to find it. But give me a call back, and because I know I talked to you on my way home that night after the show, and so get in touch with me. I'm ready for that trip whenever you get ready. Mike, go over there below Loudon. We've drifted that swift water down through there several years back.
Yeah.
Hadn't been over there in quite a while. I've always kind of liked that over there below that dam.
Some good small amounts, some good solder in there.
Yeah, we just got to get after them, and honestly, everything we've always been told and done was the colder it was, the better it was.
Yeah.
And
That's exactly right.
so I don't know what the water temperature is running over there right now, but maybe this gentleman will call me back, and we can get a trip set up for that. Go over there and jerk on them, and I know there's every kind of fish in the world in there.
Oh yeah, they say there's some good crappie in there too.
Yeah. So all the fish are there, just and plenty of bait, and those fish in that river are different. They get behind every little old rock and cranny and log and stick that they can find, knock that current off of them, because they're the ambushers. They're gonna,
Yep.
and you get into the, you're on the bottom of that lake at one time. That river where there was a shoal here, and then you had a deep hole. Well, that current's coming over top of that smooth water.
Yeah.
Down in the bottom of that deep hole, Mike, and they're laying there to ambush.
That's right.
They're hunting for bait, hunting for something to eat. So I hope he calls me, and I'm going to mention that again next week.
Mhm.
He missed tonight, so that I can get set up with him here and get a trip. Folks, remember sponsors. I can't say enough about the sponsors. We've got to have them, and to keep the show going, and I'm working hard to make sure we get to continue on for next year. I'm enjoying doing it, and I hope you're enjoying watching it. And we just, if you've got something you would like to see us improve on, give me a call over here, or call me, after the show. If you want to see certain things and that kind of thing, give us a buzz. We want to make it good for you because we enjoy doing it. And
60 seconds.
It's a learning process for us, and we just want to work at it and do better.
I think you can set that camera up and show everybody how to fillet them crappie out there. I think you ought to be in pretty good shape time you get through all them crappie.
That might be a pretty good thing there, Mike. That
Yeah.
might be a tackle box tip. I use electric knife, and a lot of people use a fillet knife. So that ain't a bad idea. So, folks, God bless you. Hope to see you next week. And remember, let's go fishing.
You're clear.